Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. You don't need to be from the Emerald Isle to know that Katie Taylor makes her homecoming on Saturday against CHANTELLE Cameron. And if you're a boxing fan, you'll know about Katie, Olympic gold medal winner, currently 22 wins, no defeats, no draws, 6 KOs. Absolute idol in Ireland, definitely a major player in escalating women's boxing. The progression of it, it's still in its infancy compared to the men's, but if you look at the last decade, the amount of incremental jumps women's boxing has made has been really quite striking, and there have been some great fights. Katie is now 36, undisputed lightweight champ, 5'5" tall, 66-inch reach, and people are going to say, okay, she's in against a bigger woman, but they're also going to look at her age, look at the fact that she's been fighting since she was, I don't know, how old was she when she first put on the gloves? 11, 12? I know that there's a story about when she started boxing, she had to pretend to be a boy, which shows you how far boxing and women have come, and female boxers becoming accepted has become the norm, which is good. And yeah, she is, I suppose you could say living legend if that doesn't sound too cheesy, but certainly in Ireland she's a superstar, and she's widely respected throughout the whole of boxing internationally. But she is 36, and if we go back 2 fights, we have the Serrano fight, that epic from Madison Square Garden, where she was she was out on her feet, or so it seemed, in the 5th round against Serrano, came back to pinch a split decision, not steal it wasn't a robbery, but it was a close fight, could have gone either way. I thought Katie edged it, but if they'd given it to Serrano, I wouldn't have complained. I don't think anyone would have done. But yeah, 36 years of age. Since then she's had one fight where she beat Karen Carbajal, who was undefeated at the time, 19 wins, no defeats, no draws, hadn't faced anyone even as close in Katie, in talent as Katie, and she got widely outpointed. I mean, Katie won, I can't remember the scorecards, I think 98, 92, something like that. I agreed with that. I think you could have actually made a case for giving Katie every round. So she's still got a lot left, even at that age, even at that relatively advanced age and with a lot of miles on the clock. But if you look at her fights professionally, the 2 Pursoon fights were demanding. Certainly the first one, which I thought Katie Taylor lost, I have to say that. To me that was clearly a win for Pursoon. And obviously the Serrano fight. She's got some miles on the clock, but it's not. She's by no means a shot fighter, and also the fact that the championship distance is 10 2-minute rounds, not 12 threes, is going to, I think, contribute to the longevity of fighters in the females' code. So I think it's probably true to say that reports of her demise have been exaggerated or are a bit premature. But make no mistake about it, CHANTELLE Cameron can win this fight, and she is. Is she an underdog with the bookies? I think she is, but not by much. And the bookies very rarely get it wrong. And I would not be surprised that if this fight was somewhere else, was not in Ireland, was not at the 3 Arena in Dublin, if it was on neutral turf, or certainly if it was in England, if the bookies had CHANTELLE the favourite, a slight favourite. Because let's go through CHANTELLE's resume and look at some statistics. She is 4 years younger than Katie. She's 32. She's got a 3-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage. That's according to BoxRec. And she herself is the undisputed super lightweight champion. So we've got 2 undisputed women fighting each other, which is fantastic for the game. She won most rounds in her previous fight against Jessica McCaskill. The judges had it closer than I thought. I think they were 96-94. I thought CHANTELLE, I did give Jessica rounds, maybe 3, but Jessica, she's rough and tumble at the best of times, but she was so crude in that fight. And so unorthodox and so damn tough that, yeah, she gave Chantelle problems in a few of the rounds, but generally speaking, I thought Chantelle's cleaner work won the fight effectively. And she's also got wins against Mary McGee, that was a very good win, where she won most of the rounds. I think it was in 99, 91, 98, 92, that sort of range, which I agreed with. Bustos, Victoria Bustos, she beat her. I think that was a whitewash. I think that was 3 lots of 190. So she's a bigger woman. She's younger. She's faced world level opposition. This is not someone like like the lady I mentioned previously, Carbajal, or say, for example, Firuza Sharapova, who was also undefeated when she faced Katie. This is a woman who is bigger, younger, has faced world-class opposition, and is in her own right an undisputed champion, taking on Katie. And therefore, I think she is a major, major threat to spoiling this coming home party for Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is going to be up for this fight. I mean, she's always confident. She always prepares herself mentally and physically, but I can't see her not being 100% ready for this fight, mentally, emotionally as well. Psychologically, she's going to be prepared. I don't think they would let her go ahead with the fight if she wasn't 100%. And Cameron, you could argue that there's a question mark over her, because there was that business with Cameron insisting that Ellie Scotney be taken off the bill because Shane McGuigan, who used to train Cameron and who is, I think there was obviously a legal dispute between them. There's a non-disclosure agreement between them. Cameron couldn't elaborate, but she did not want Scotney on that bill. She did not want Shane McGuigan anywhere near her. She didn't want him in the arena. You could argue that puts a question mark over Chantelle Cameron's emotional state and mental state. Is she feeling the pressure of this challenge? Because even though on paper you look at it and you think this is 50-50 fight at least. You could make Cameron a slight favourite if it was on neutral turf, certainly. But it does indicate that Cameron sees this as a challenge, a major, major threat, which it clearly is. Because even though Katie's smaller, a bit older, she's proven herself. This is clearly Cameron's biggest test. But it does indicate that she doesn't quite have 100% faith in her ability if she needs to, pull certain strings, make certain demands. I mean, poor Ellie Scotney, I really felt for her. This was, she idolises Katie Taylor, as do a lot of female fighters. She wanted to be on this card. This was her dream, and Cameron's vetoed it. So that doesn't win Cameron any fans. But you got to do what you got to do to get an edge, to make yourself, or to maximise your ability to win a fight. So you can look at it both sides of the argument. Is Cameron doing the right thing for herself? Yes. Does she care that it's not going to win her any friends? Probably not. But it does indicate that there may be seeds of doubt in Cameron's mind. Now, the event itself, God only knows what the atmosphere is going to be like when both women are in the ring. I mean, Cameron might have a handful of fans there. Perhaps some people have gone over from England. Cameron is from Northamptonshire, in Northamptonshire, and there'll probably be pockets of support for her, but they are going to get drowned out. They are going to get blitzed when it comes to the atmosphere. The Irish fans know how to celebrate their heroes. They know how to create an atmosphere that is kind of on a par with the Mexican atmosphere. Can be quite intimidating. We saw John Ryder recently go over to fight Canelo day after Cinco de Mayo. Colossal atmosphere, all in favour of Canelo, and yet John handled it. I mean, he was superb. He lost the fight very clearly, got knocked down, got his nose busted, took his beating like a man. His stock went up, but he handled the occasion. I think a big part of who wins this fight is going to be, can Chantelle Cameron handle the occasion? I'm assuming Katie can handle the occasion. I don't see any evidence in the past to suggest that she freezes, she balks at taking on the responsibility. She's a very religious woman, so she defers to the higher power and all that sort of psychological crutch that religious people have. That will help her. Cameron, I'm not so sure about. However, well, actually, before I move on to the however, let me also mention the 10-2s. Let's talk about who that's going to favour. Because Katie Taylor, good skills, well, very good skills, boxer, not a big puncher. Cameron, in her 17 wins, has 8 KOs, has faced bigger women. I would say Cameron probably has more snap to her punches, a bit more weight. Katie's proven she's got a good chin, because Serrano can pop. And Katie took those full-blooded punches in that 5th round. She was busted up, she had a cut eye and everything, but she survived and she came back to retake control of the fight and win. So she's got a good jaw, but that's not to say she can't be buzzed or floored or whatever, you know, against a bigger woman. I mean, Serrano's been up and down the weights like nobody, up and down like a bride's nightie. You know, Cameron is a naturally much bigger woman. She hasn't jumped up and down weights. So she might test Katie's resolve, her fortitude, physically. I mean, I don't think you can defeat Katie mentally. I don't think you can make her quit. I don't think she's going to quit at all. She'd have to be rescued, you know, pulled out by a corner if she was getting a serious battering. And I hope they would have the strength to make that decision if it does unfold that she's getting smashed to bits. I hope we haven't got a brave corner. I don't think we will have, because Katie's father is obviously involved and, you know, trains her and all that business. But if the 10-2s, who does the 10-2s favour? Does it favour the slickster? I would say yes, rather than Cameron, who herself likes to box, but is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more, you know, less conservative, a little bit more liberal with her punch output. I think Cameron, footwork, I'd say Katie's was better. I think Cameron, because of the size, she has to impose herself on Katie. I kind of see a parallel between this fight and Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, because Marshall was the bigger woman, is the bigger woman, but Shields with output and with a very, very cavalier attitude to start with, which I think took Savannah by surprise, took me by surprise as well, and I think a lot of people, she was able to outpoint Savannah. I thought it was a very, very close fight. Most people didn't, but hey, she won the fight. I've got no problem with that at all. And I think this stylistically and in terms of tactics, it might be the same. I think Katie might have to, she'll probably have a look at Chantelle in maybe the 1st and 2nd rounds, but I think she's got to get her skates on. These 10-2 rounds, they fly by. And I really, really wish they were 12-3s. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be 12 3-minute rounds for the women. I mean, that is by definition the nature of equality, right? You've got to give, I don't see any reason why women can't fight 12-3s. You know, what are we saying that are we saying they're the weaker sex? Mustn't go there, especially in this day and age. But genuinely, all joking aside, I think they should fight 12-3s. I've always said that. I've always believed that. 12 2-minute rounds, as I've said many, many times before, is 20 minutes of fighting, okay? Which is only 2 minutes more than a men's 6-rounder. So why are we saying 10-2s is okay for a world title fight? But it exists. So who does it favour? I would say it favours Katie if she starts early. If she starts early. What she doesn't want to be is the rounds flip by and suddenly she's behind after 5. I think she wants it after 4, 5, 6. She wants it at the very least even. At the very least even. And also I think Katie, by being a bit more cavalier than she normally is, will test Chantelle's mentality, her mental strength, her psychological strength, her emotional strength. She will test that by putting it on her. And that means using her feet, getting in and out quickly, giving her angles, constantly making Chantelle have to reset herself. Don't give her any chance to sort of get into any kind of rhythm. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when I was doing the preview for Haney and Loma. I was thinking the same thing, because you've got a much bigger man against a smaller man. The smaller guy has to be busier and not allow the bigger guy, potentially the harder hitter, to set himself. I think it's the same with this. Katie will need to keep Chantelle Cameron constantly guessing. So, all things considered, the amount of rounds, the length of the rounds, the size difference, the tactics, Because I think at some point, Chantelle's in Ireland. She's got to go after her. She's got to really put it on her. And, you know, not do... I mean, I know that, you know, with Shields and Savannah Marshall, it was in England. So you would think Savannah had the advantage. But Savannah should have, from the word go, really put it on Clarissa. We know that now, but hindsight is 20/20 vision. But I think even though this is in Katie's backyard, the bigger woman, in this case Chantelle Cameron, has got to put it on her from the start and not allow her to get any rhythm going. Not allow... If Katie comes forward and starts throwing punches in bunches, Chantelle's got to absolutely fire back and impose her physical size, her strength, her will, and say, I don't care that I'm in your backyard. I don't care you're the great Katie Taylor. I'm coming for you. In fact, I'm here right now and I'm looking for you. I'm coming for you. I'm not running. I'm coming for you. She's got to have that, stamp that authority on the fight. If she does that, I think, this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong because you know me by now. You've watched my videos. You know that I get a lot of them wrong, these predictions. But I think, provided, and these are some big ifs, provided Chantelle Cameron is not overawed, is physically and mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, spiritually prepared, whatever other adjective you want to use, if she has the right tactics and starts to impose her physical size and her power early, I think she can even, and this might surprise a few people, she can even win a decision over Katie Taylor in Ireland. Now, of course, I'm making a quantum leap there because I'm assuming that, you know, people are going to say, Katie Taylor will never lose a decision in Ireland. I get it. And that is, you are quite possibly right. Perhaps there's just no way. You know, you could lose every round and Katie would get a draw or whatever, or a narrow win. There's some, you know, Canelo on points thing going on here, maybe. But I'm going to stick my neck out and say that if Chantelle Cameron is physically prepared, mentally prepared, spiritually prepared, she wins a decision over Katie Taylor. Just by power, precision. I could be wrong. I only make this a 55-45 fight in favour of Cameron. And it's quite possible that Katie Taylor can outslick her, can win most of the rounds. It's perfectly feasible. I can see that scenario in my head. I've just got a feeling that Cameron might prove people wrong. Just got a feeling that she might pinch a split decision, something along those lines. You watch. Katie will win every round. What can I tell you? Hey, listen, if I got my predictions right all the time, I'd be living in a mansion and driving a Bentley. As it happens, I live in a one-bedroom flat, so that's all you need to know. But that's going to be my prediction. Go on, slag me off in the comments. I dare you. Go on, go for it. I'm saying Chantelle Cameron to win an upset decision over Katie Taylor in Ireland. And I'm assuming that the judges are going to be fair. Will they be fair? Who knows? I have serious doubts, but call me naive. I'm going to be naive. I'll say Chantelle wins a decision. Probably controversially. Anyway, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Are you looking forward to this fight? Yeah, just let me know your predictions and why, more importantly, why you think whoever you're picking will win. Thanks as always for listening in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and pop that like button as well. That helps us out a great deal. And yeah, can't wait for this one. It's going to be good. Wish I was there. That atmosphere is going to be something special. Anyway, watch it on TV is the next best thing, sort of. Catch you later then. Bye for now.